together. Lose a focus, come on, be a go-getter. Shouldn't gonna stay focused. Opportunities.
Sanibonani lapha emakhaya and a salute to all my hustlers. Igama umephelele shumo bafethu. Khona le ngoma edumile ethi akulaleki ima unemali. Uthina la ekhaya sithi akulaleki ima ungasebenzi. Ngokuthi sithi hlala njalo uvuke ekseni mfethu uyofuna umsebenzi uhambe lapha uyoyimaketha bafethu because it doesn't take rocket science bafethu to become a hustler. Uyazi iSpani noma hustlers we create beautiful chemistry. Speaking about chemistry, science and marketing bafethu. Sihamba nentokazi ke ezibhanqa zonke lezo zinto bafethu uSherilee. Intokazi ke ifisa ke ukuba yi-accounts manager kwinkampani ke edumile kakhulu laphana ke ku-chemical industry bafethu abayibiza ngokuthi yi-DOW Chemicals. Ake sibone ukuthi uyihlanganisa kanjani ke ifomula yakhe of success.
My childhood consisted of being with family a lot. I'm the youngest of 4, so obviously, you know, it's a lot of protection from them, and but a lot of learning. It's a very good relationship. Each of my siblings have very different personalities. So, like my sister is very calm and collected and creative, and my brothers are a little bit more structured. So I got to have the best of both worlds from my siblings. My parents, for a living, my mom is a nurse. My mom is probably the strongest woman I know. So she was an absolutely fantastic role model to be around.
I would definitely say her personality comes from her mom. Her mom also shows a lot of strength. And I look up to her definitely as well. I mean, she's also been a mom that I've grown up with. And also one of the strongest women I know. And she definitely does get her traits from her mom.
So a few years ago, my dad's company closed down because he had an accident. So it wasn't feasible for him to continue with the business. So for his well-being and the well-being of the family, we decided, you know what, let's close that portion down and focus on his health. When the dynamics of the household changed and my dad was at home, and you know, this was after high school, so it came down to just making sure that you support each other. So you keep good communication, keep focused, and just keep the love alive, and then it's fine. So it was a different dynamic, but we managed. And we've come through even stronger than we were before. So it was good. When I was younger, we used to watch a lot of Indian movies, and I loved music, and at family functions you have Indian music playing, and you know, it's so much fun. The dream died, the realization came in, but I still love Indian movies, I love Indian music, and all my friends are Indian, so it keeps the dream alive deep down. So I wanted to challenge the norm of what university I went to so that I could really just find myself on my own. So I picked a university that none of my friends were attending. So I literally chose to go to the University of Pretoria.
I was very proud of her to actually have the courage to move out of your comfort zone and have to move to a different city altogether and have to adapt to new people and surroundings and whatever the case might be. But other than that, I think at that stage in our lives, we were all trying to find our feet and what it is we were born, what was our purpose in life. And I feel that even though we were apart for a few years, I do believe that time apart also allowed us to grow into our own beings of who we should be.
I remember I was walking home from varsity at the time, and I'd got back to my hostel. And I remember I left something at campus, and I tried to walk back to campus, and I got so lost. I just didn't know where the university was. So I ended up walking in circles just to try and find the university. Eventually I had to stop and ask someone for directions. And that person that I asked for direction is still my friend till today.
So there was actually a day when Sherry was studying at Pretoria, and I was still in Durban at the time, and she had called me hysterically because she had lost her way to campus from home. At the time, it was actually really funny, and we had a good laugh about it. But eventually, she did find her way by asking a local, and she thankfully didn't need my help. So she finds her way.
I did my undergrad I did a BSc in chemistry. And thereafter, I continued at the University of Pretoria, and I did my honors and my masters in chemistry. So I went on to networks online that promote jobs and things, and I researched all the companies that integrate science and business. And the DOW Chemical Company was one of those. And I found out about a program that they ran. And it just so happened that they were calling for applicants. And I was lucky enough, by God's grace, to be chosen to join the program. And that's how I started at DOW.
In the next 5 years, I think I would see Sherilee still with DOW Chemical, but definitely not in South Africa. Definitely not. She's gonna make it big elsewhere in the world.
So I've just completed my 9-month graduate program at DOW, and tomorrow I've been granted the opportunity to advance my career at DOW and move on to the next level. So they're going to interview me regarding my abilities to be a commercial manager.
So tomorrow is obviously Sherilee's interview. And I think as a friend, if I had any words of motivation or advice to give her, it would definitely to keep strong and be true to yourself.
If I got the position, it would mean a lot to me. And I believe that this would be a great place for me to be in and to support. So getting this job would allow me to do that. So it would mean a lot to me. And it would be my stepping stone into my future, a start into the right direction, basically. So I'm here at DOW and I'm going into my interview. I'm not too nervous. I'm really excited to share my knowledge. So wish me luck.
Hello, Sherilee. Thank you very much for making the time to be with us here today. We are actually here to go through the process of the interview, to learn a little bit more about you, and for you also to learn a little bit more about DOW. And accordingly, I'd like to hand over to Bongi to take it from here.
Thank you, Mohammed. Welcome, Sherilee. And thank you for your interest in the position. Okay, so without any waste of time, could you tell me why you're interested in working for DOW?
Oh, Mohammed, nice to meet you. It's nice to meet you, Bongi. Basically, I was part of the CDP program, as you know, and part of this program really instilled what the value of DOW is and the objectives of DOW. I mean, as you know, the founder of DOW, Herbert H. Dow, once said, if you can't do it better, why do it? And I think this instills a concept that I appreciate. If you can do it better, if we can be better, if we can help, the manufacturing industry with good technology, then I would love to be a part of that. Also part of the CDP, we were very much instilled with how to be a commercial manager, how to interact with people to obtain the most out of the relationship, how to network, how to understand markets and companies and their objectives. And all these aspects of the business side of science, of putting science into the market, is something that really was special to me, and it's something I feel like I could do really well. So coming from the CDP and building my commercial knowledge, having a science background, I think DOW is the best fit for me to be the best I can be in the business side of technology.
Okay, thank you for that, Sherilee. Now I'll hand you over to Mohammed Sami, who's going to take you through the next set of questions. Mohammed?
So, Sherilee, thank you very much for your answers. I would like to understand a little bit more, if you can think about a time when you were able to remain calm and positive when experiencing unexpected challenges. What actions did you take to keep yourself and your teammates focused?
Do you want the long answer or the short answer?
The longest.
The longest one? I would have to say that as part of the CDP, you work with a lot of different people from a lot of different nationalities, cultures, personalities, and this can sometimes be a struggle to keep everybody on the same page and focused. I think the biggest learning that I had from the program at DOW was to find common ground with people. How can you relate with somebody from a different geography, from someone from Europe to somebody from other parts of Africa? So I would say, Mohammed, finding common ground and building a very strong relationship and a very strong sense of respect to them. And then I saw a change in their response to me, and they were more focused and they were more willing to be part of a team when the relationship went beyond a very business surface level relationship. So
Fantastic.
that would be
Fantastic. So can you also think of a time when you came up with a solution to a problem after thinking about it from a different perspective? And what actions did you take to understand this different perspective from the other side?
Well, I remember a quote that I was told when I was doing my master's in chemistry. It was, you have to balance high skill over high will. You have to make a balance. So when you're in the research industry or in research, it's very easy to take research from other people and just to believe or just go with it. So I think during my master's, when I was trying to fulfill my thesis, I couldn't just take research that was in the market and just say, this is what's going on. I had to be creative and think, okay, well, what new technology is in the mining industry that can be used? In the new age, we use a lot of automation. Is automation playing a part? Because you have to change with the times. And whenever I try and come up with the solution, I try and use my youth, that there's a lot of new things in the market, new technologies. So the new perspective I always take is the new age stuff. So technology, IT, that perspective. So keeping that strength in mind, that's what I always try and do to solve solutions from alternative perspectives, not follow the norm.
So the next step of the assessment process is to take you through the tasks you are required to undergo. Mohammed, would you like to touch briefly on those tasks?
Certainly, Bongi. So the job you are applying for is basically an account manager, and the role in the polyurethane business would actually undertake 3 key tasks that you'll be performing. The first one is to demonstrate your acumen in sales management. The second one is to demonstrate your ability for product development, because from time to time we need to fine-tune products for specific customer requirements, and that would be a key task that you would be performing. And the third one is troubleshooting, because customers would be calling you whenever they are having a challenge on their process, so that you would go and resolve it to make them resume production in the shortest possible time.
Sure. Thank you, Mohammed. So now, Sherilee, we'll be handing you over to your mentor for the day, and we're going to reconvene in the afternoon, and he will provide us feedback with the tasks that you will be required to undergo today, and then based on that, we're going to make a decision whether to hire you or not.
Great.
Good luck.
Sounds good.
Good luck, Sherilee.
Thank you.
All the best.
Sherilee o amantshitse di-values tsa company a di kopanya le tsa hae e leng ntho e ntle, a hatella dintho tse a ithutileng, a bontsha ditebogo tsa hae, a phetha a hatella le dikgatlhego tsa hae hantle. Bomampodi ba technical sales and marketing ba ya hlokahala makaleng a mangata. Mesebetsi e mengata ya ho qala ke ya customer service. Mo he o ilo araba dipotso tsa di-customer, wa hlokomela le di-customer tse ditjha. Ha se o na le tsebo e tibileng, o na le tsebo ka botlalo ka ha company, ke mo he o tla tswang wa ya dithekisong kapa o ilo phatlalatsa di-products tsa company le di-services tsa teng. Mahustlers ha re nyahame, ha re eme hobane re kgathetse, o ema wena ha se o qetile. Ha se o fila o ka re o batla ho lahlela toulo, ke potso hore hobaneng o qadile.
Dumelang bagaetsho, leina la ka ke Thula Rekodisang. I'm a senior technical associate mo DOW Chemicals. Ke qadile ho sebetsa mo DOW 2013, so now going on 4 years. Kajeno ke tla be ke le mentor ya Sherilee Pillay. Hi Sherilee.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
As you know, today I've got a task for you. That will be the first task. It's basically to check your business acumen, basically trying to understand and gauge you on the ability to convince your business leaders on a need that the customer has established with you. Secondly, you will need to demonstrate that with an existing customer, you want to take them in a particular direction and grow the business with them. And you need to be able to outline product developments and specifications that are needed in the business. Okay. This is some of the parts of your task 1 that we'll be doing. So if you could just go with me in this way.
Sure.
It's going down at DOW Chemicals. Someone has to Sherilee Pillay. It was the episode over account manager for your company. It was is breaking down all kinds of stereotypes. Buffet. What about chemists? About Abanjani. Just a moment. Now we are enjoy Buffet. Ngaphambi ukuthi qhubele ngomsebenzi. Nami ke outing ngibona ukuthi singachitha lesi sichitho esisihlupha kangaka Buffet and break it down. Njengoba ke nginikeza iword jumble lethu yakule viki. Nginikeze ke amaclue amathathu Buffet. Nginishange ebhansela. Amanatha ameka nje Bafethu u-A no Y igcina ke u-S. Wayazi impendulo ngena lapha nokuTwitter na ku-Facebook uthumele eyakho impendulo. So thina njengeSpani Bafethu njengama-hustlers siyamsekela siyamsupporta uSherilee. Kodwa nangu umbuzo omkhulu ukuthi ngabe yena ke uzokwazi ukuthi anikeze ke i-technical support ku-client yakhe. Ngithi mina Sherilee, I'm your biggest fan.
So, as we were saying down the corridor, this is the beginning of your task 1.
Okay.
We're here to do business, right? And the biggest part of our business is commercial.
Sure.
So it's selling. So the reason why I'm doing it in this way is that I need to understand your ability to sell and run the commercial aspects of our business. Okay. So don't feel like it's an interview, please. You've already had that. So this is the part where I just need to understand your understanding, okay?
Okay.
Now, what I'd like to gauge from you is what is the key success factor that a account manager needs in this job? What do you think is that?
Well, an account manager would be handling accounts, which relates to people. So they would need to be able to deal with people and customers. So you would have to collaborate, so understand your customers, what they do and why they're doing it, and really just dig deep into understanding your customer. And you would have to be the face of the customer in terms of DOW. So you need to support the customer and really just be a people's person. I enjoy working with clients. I enjoy meeting new people and new manufacturing sort of companies. And different people have different mindsets. And I like to absorb those and integrate it into my thinking so I can learn more from them and how they do things.
Now, remember my first word when I said negotiation.
Exactly.
This is key to that, because not only are you negotiating outside with the customer, you have to negotiate with your internal stakeholders, right? Your boss, your colleagues, your people in the lab. These are people that you will be negotiating. You have to make them see your idea.
Exactly.
That you come from a customer.
Okay.
Okay, so let's post a scenario here for you. Now you've got this customer, this lovely customer that you have managed to convince the business and the customer to join you, right? What now? What happens?
Well, now you would have to identify the product that we would be planning to sell to the customer to start doing business. So you would need to understand what are their goals going forward. How can we bring innovation to them to help them grow? If they have an idea to be bigger or better and they don't know how to go about doing this, we need to be that support, the technology support, to help them grow and help them tap into what they may want to do.
Part of company to realize motonaling talent, onaling the abilities that you're looking for in your organization. So Hustler Sherilee, it's somebody only ambitious. She wants to grow. She wants to learn. She's eager. Getting her hands dirty. This is what I'm getting. So, when we approach business, right? We seldom think that everything is gonna be, easygoing.
Oh yeah.
Now, this customer maybe has joined you because they like you. They like the product you've sold. All that. How would you deal with, the one that does this? Don't want to deal with you, the difficult ones.
The difficult one.
Because it's not a rosy road, right?
I think the biggest challenge that one would face is definitely that we have so many cultures in South Africa, so different temperaments, different people. So a difficult customer, I think the key thing here is to just make sure you find common ground. Try and build the relationship on a more personal level before you move to business too quickly. One of the challenges that I experienced in my program, my 9-month program, was that you had to phone customers and talk to them, and they didn't know who you were, or they were busy. So you had to make sure that you dealt with them in a very simple and quick manner. You couldn't waste their time. You couldn't, waffle on stuff that wasn't important.
If you were to define or scope a product from a customer, what are the elements that you might want to take away from the customer?
Let me tie in, your previous comment with an answer here. when you look at leveraging, and when you mean leveraging, it's using technology from a global standpoint and using it in our region to help better our manufacturing industry. Taking such technologies and making it relevant to our people helps them to be better.
What was the purpose of task one? As we are in a corporate office right now, the job that she's in has two legs, right? It's technical and commercial, okay? Now, for the purpose of the exercise and to show what the commercial aspect of this, because you can either teach a person to sell or, you know, they don't get it, or they know the fundamentals, they need guidance in, you know, executing them. So the purpose of task one was to evaluate, you know, the how her thinking is around commercial discipline. My last question to you, Sherilee, how will you use DOW's global reputation to your advantage in our local market here in South Africa?
Well, South Africa is still in very much a developing stage of a lot of its manufacturing. So I would use and bring a lot of the technology that DOW has in Europe and the Middle East and implement it here in South Africa, or see if it's possible, because this will help us to really advance our industry and to make our manufacturing industry more efficient, more profitable, and that's what defines our economy. In task one, I think I did pretty well. I think I have a lot to learn still. You can never know enough about management, but I think from the 9 months of training I had, that I'm in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Sherilee. I think that went rather well. From now, we'll move to the second task. Thank you.
Great, thanks.
Mona re bona o tlameha go bana le bokgoni le botsebi bo tibileng ka tsamaiso ya company le tsebo ka ha customer. O tlameha hape go bana le bokgoni ba go nyalantsha ditlhokwa tsa customer ya hao le company e o e sebeletsang. Tsebo ka di-technical skills tsa product ya hao. O kgone go aha kamano le di-customer tsa hao. O kgone go itsheetsa, o be analytical, and o ithutele ka pela. Mahastlase, di-challenges tsa bophelo ha di sa go fetole o ka se hole. Sebedisa mathata a hao le diphephetso tsa hao ho phahamisa. Go tasking e latelang, re shebile di-technical and communication skills tsa yena Sherilee.
So, welcome to task two.
Thank you.
We're going to be basically checking product development
Okay.
and innovation that you can actually bring to the customer, and run through different applications that we have and explaining what each foam that you will see or what polyurethane you will see, and explaining to me as, you know, how you understand polyurethane. So this is task two. So I hope you're not nervous.
No.
Because you now have to tell me what you know, right?
Sounds good.
All right,
Let's go.
do it. So Sherilee, welcome to your second task.
Thank you.
Here I'm going to give you a brief of polyurethane, okay, and how much complex it is. Polyurethane can be as hard as a golf ball, or in this case a cricket ball, which is used for training for cricket. You might have seen this in high school.
I have.
Okay, and it's so versatile that you can make it as soft as foam that we sleep in.
Okay.
You can feel that, it's very soft, right? So your good night's sleep comes from here. And you can also make shoes, right? Which, your running shoes?
Yeah.
I know you said you like running. So that's the polyurethane which would come from for making shoes.
Okay.
We can go as far as keeping food cold at home in your fridge. So that's where you have the mid-range rigid foam.
Okay.
Okay. On this task, I'm basically going to ask you to elaborate and explain the differences in where the polyurethane is used and your understanding on the technical aspects of the foam.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Sounds good.
As Kichilo, polyurethane is a very big portfolio of products. It's different sectors. So her ability to explain in the technical sense, you know, what is insulation, for example, and in the grand scheme of things, South Africa, or even in the world.
Laurie, if I had to explain to you what insulation is. Insulation is what we need to use in our refrigerators, in our homes, and what this does is it either keeps the cold air in or it keeps the warm air in. As you know, in South Africa, we have very cold winters and we can have very hot summers. So in the winter, we use a heater, and in the summer, we use an air conditioner. Now, we need that warmth or that cooling air to stay within the boundaries of our fridge or our home or our cold room, for that matter. The greatest part of potentially working at DOW is that your time is split. So half the time you're allowed to be out with customers and learning what they do in manufacturing and seeing their processes. So technically a lab, just a plant, so a large scale. And then the other part, you get to be in the office and think about long-term and products. And so I wouldn't say I enjoy one over the other, but they both complement each other. And that's basically what insulation does. Is insulation creates a barrier that keeps the air in. And if I demonstrate to you, like you, okay? So basically what you have is, if you, let's call this the inside of your insulation. Polyurethane makes little gas bubbles. What this does is there's gas inside these bubbles. So if you have air, let's call this side the inside of your home, if you have warm air and it tries to move out, it doesn't move out the other side. So it comes back. So it's all retained within the home or within the cold room or within the fridge.
Well, in task 2, part of it, I needed Sherilee to basically display how she can explain and present a concept, right? And I specifically concentrated on energy efficiency because it's something we're very passionate about as company Aruna, because we strive to help in reducing our carbon footprint, ensure we basically preserve. What about looking at the geyser market, which is also heat, right? Can you explain the concept there and the link to, for example, the power generation?
So basically, if we have a water heater at home and we're heating up a large quantity of water to use in our household, we need to make sure that that water stays hot for as long as possible. It doesn't lose heat to the surroundings. So having a well-insulated water heater, so I'm talking about the outside of the water heater, it keeps the heat in, keeps the water hot, and then we can use it in our showers or washing dishes or whatever the application is. The biggest challenge you face when you work in the lab is, for me, is the fact that I'm quite small. I'm quite short. So, you know, when you want to reach those high cupboards and things, you know, it's not as easy. So I would say that was a bit of a challenge for me.
Can you explain where PU is and what it is and what it's doing in a shoe? Because
in a shoe?
Technically that I don't know. I don't know anything about PU, right? I don't know. I'm wearing shoes right now, so please teach me about PU in shoes.
So basically, polyurethane can support in 2 different applications of footwear. Either you can have your casual shoes, so your men's formal shoes or your sandals that your wife wears, or you can have it in safety shoes. Safety shoes that we use in the mines, in agriculture, with animals. It is by standard for safety that you wear a good safety shoe.
So, got task 2, you would have seen where we had different foam samples, right? And then I'll explain from the point where you can go as hard as golf ball, right? Which is something either elastomeric and very rigid high density, right? Now, product you use it, as I said, for playing cricket and all that, right? Now, it's the same chemistry, polyurethane, right? Just a different application.
Polyurethane does everything for you. It gives you that good night's sleep before you wake up in the morning. And basically, from the bed you sleep on to your pillow under your head, this is potentially polyurethane foam. And as you showed me earlier, Tulari, I mean, the density and the feel of it is what you can use in your bed. I think in task 2, I think I performed well. I was able to understand the applications and why they're relevant for South Africa. I think I was able to understand the basic concept of polyurethanes and its functions. And I'm excited to see what other applications there are beyond the ones we looked at.
With that said, right, I believe we have one more task to go to, right, which will be the final task of the day. And I hope you do well in that one as well.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi Sherilee, mosebetsi ona o mading wa hae wa utlwisisa ene hape wa o rata o na le bokgoni ba puo bongata ba di-chemical sales and marketing ba na le di-degree tsa chemistry ha ba bang ba na le di-masters tsa business administration ha e ka ba wena o na le kgatlhego o batla o ithutela yona sales and marketing fela o tlhoka senior certificate e tla o dumelang gore e etse diploma kapa yona degree hopola gore maths e compulsory ha se o na le tsona he o ka e fumanela diploma in marketing management kapa le yona certificate ya sales management. South African Institute of Management e na le melaetsa ka botlalo e kopanye le bona ba tla go jwetsa ka menyetla e leng teng. Tasking ya o qetela re bona Sherilee he a sheba ditlhokwa tsa client ya hae.
Okay, now we're going to your last task for the day. How are you feeling so far?
Good.
Okay, so your task will relate to troubleshooting at a customer site, right? We've been with us for about 5 years. So I need you to go on site and basically show the steps that you would take in solving the problem that they're having. You know, they're not a complainer, so you have to take that into consideration that they really genuinely have a problem that they would like for you to resolve. Is that okay with you?
That's good.
All right, let's go.
Uyazi hustlers khona abantu abadayisa iayikho ungaza kimi nje uzothengisa into ongazilutho ngayo bafethu yabona ke into enhle ukuthi uSherilee bafethu unolwazi le-chemistry ngisho naye ke i-marketing bafethu uyazazi indaba zakhe ngokuza ngezixazululo ezintsha ke ezingahle zincede i-client yakhe but right now ngabe nilapha emakhaya niyazazi indaba zenu when it comes to the word jumble. I'm guessing the answer is no, so athi ngincede bafethu nginikeze another clue which is the letter N. Simelana nomkhafazo ngokukhulu ukushesha isikhathi sidliwe ikati masikuyenza kokhefu sobona ke uSherilee azamxazulula impiqa abadala engahle ke incede i-client yakhe ithi uyabona uma ukhathele ixazululo noma ke icebo elihle ukuthi uthathe ikhefu uphumule okuyinto ke esiyenza khona manje.
This is a test.
So Sherry, welcome to your last and final task for the day.
Okay.
How are you feeling so far?
Good.
Good.
I'm pleased to do the
I
last.
think this one you do well, I hope.
My mentor was very helpful today and he really made me understand what's the key points to being successful in this business.
Task 3 basically is a case study, right?
Okay.
We have this long-standing customer. He's been with us for 5-6 years, okay? He calls you and he says, Sherilee, I've got a problem. The shoe that we're making is not coming right. There's something wrong with the polyurethane, okay? Your task would be to go to the customer and sort the problem out. If I would respond to a customer's need, somebody else will, right? And that's the difference between you succeeding with your company and another company succeeding.
Well, Tulari, if I had to troubleshoot a customer who was producing soles, right, we have to dig a little bit deeper into where's the issue stemming from. All right, so as you mentioned, if I had to give you let's call it a troubleshooting procedure. Okay? Basically, the first thing I would do is you would need to discuss, was it once off? Or is it, let's say, consistent? Okay. And I tell you why in a second.
Okay.
So basically, if a problem is once off when it comes to manufacturing, you need to understand what was the situation on that day that led to that problem. So was it a very hot day? Was it a very cold day? Because this affects our chemical. In task 3, I was expecting a problem that I would have to solve. So in order to solve it, I just went through the main aspects that you would look at when you look at processing and machinery. We would have to look at the machine and how many machines are having this problem. Do they maybe have 5 machines and all 5 are having the problem? Do they have 5 machines but only 1 is giving a problem? Because now we start to narrow down the issue.
Ngiyacela nge-polyurethanes. I think ukuzongena la idawo bengingayazi polyurethanes. Right? Bengiyazi because ngifunde ngiyazi from esikolweni. But nasesikolweni uyayithinta kancane and that's it. You know just the concept of what polyurethane. Okay. So let's say the customer says, okay, you're right. When I bend it, Sherilee, it breaks, right? Not through, but it breaks, cracks. Let's call it a crack. And the second part is because we're making safety shoes, it's 2 layers, right? Yeah. So they don't bond as well together. So those are the 2 elements that we're currently having. We've not had this, so further to your issue, this is what we're having. So how do you then try and resolve that?
So this comes down to technical concepts that I can explain briefly.
Sure.
That, for instance, if 2 layers of polyurethane on a sole are not bonding, this comes down to the amount of time it takes to cure. Because the 2 material need to not be dry, so it's dry on dry. It needs to be slightly still moist, slightly still open celled, and then they join together. In 5 years, I still see myself at DOW because I really enjoy everything DOW stands for. So I would definitely still see myself here, hopefully increasing my responsibilities of what I handle whilst being here.
I feel that you've got the grasp of this. I could give you further more examples for you to troubleshoot. But I think you're quite there.
Thank you.
I will, by the end of today, I think after this, go meet with the team that was interviewing you, give them my feedback on your performance. In my opinion, I think you did well.
Thank you.
Okay, shall we head out?
Yes.
All right,
Okay.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah,
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So how did you feel the day went, Sherilee, for you?
I think it was a great day. I got to learn a lot from Tulare about how the business works and what's required from me. So overall, I definitely think that it's something that I'm capable of developing myself into. So it was a good day overall.
That's good to hear.
This is very good to hear for sure, because the feedback that we have received from Tulare was very positive. And accordingly, we are here actually to offer you the job, Sherilee. Congratulations.
Thank you. That's very exciting. I'm very grateful, and I really do think that you guys have made a very good decision, and I hope that I can provide what is required from DOW to be a good person, to be a good account manager. So thank you for the opportunity.
Fantastic. Bongi, when would we be able to send her the offer?
Okay, so what's going to happen now is that I'm going to prepare a salary offer for you, which I'll obviously send through to you for review. And once you accept it, of which I believe you will, then we can start preparing for the onboarding process.
Fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Welcome on board. Welcome to DOW.
Well, I'm so excited. I've just come out of my interview and I got the job. I can't even express how happy I am. Everything I've ever wanted, I'm so excited. It's all within my grasp now. I can't wait for that first shopping spree. To all my hustlers out there, presser, pusher, panda.
Well done, Sherilee. Ka wena re ithutile hore ha ra tlameha go theosa ditoro tsa rona ka hobane re na le mabaka. Re tlameha go phahamisa maikemisetso a rona go a bapanya le dipallo tsa rona. Potso ya rona ya beke ena e tswa ko Lunsane. A re yena o na le kgatlhego ya go ithutela mechanical engineering. Kala he o batla di-apprenticeships tse e leng gore di tla o nea di-skills lekaleng lena. Engineering apprenticeships di teng mabakeng ao ba artisan. Ha santsane o ikahela gore ka le leng la matsatsi o be yona engineera. Sheba menyetla ko di-manufacturing tsa di-automotive. Sheba mane ko bo Eskom, ko bo Telkom le bo Transnet for menyetla. Ha e ka ba go na le go sa utlwang, hopola o checkela Facebook kapa yona website ya rona. Ke emetse ya hao potso.
Eureka! Okay, into the also science buffet when they discover something new. That's like buffet we've discovered a new talent. Oh, we are going to Sherilee buffet. Chaba asem insana gas if it's ashay chemistry. Na ile company about it DOW Chemicals buffet. Sithi senhlanhla ke emsebenzini wakhe omusha. Kodwa thina nawe lapha ekhaya buffet asika uphethe wethu umsebenzi. Ngoba ke sokusikhathi ukuthi nginikeze impendulo khona lapha ku word jumble. Igama kade silifuna bafethu yi-analysis. Sibonge ukuthi nithumele impendulo zenu bafethu. Ake sibambeni kanjalo nakuviki elizayo. Kodwa mina ke mfana kaMntambo ngidonsa zonke intambo sengiphuma kanje bafethu. Ngithi ake sihlangane khona lapha enkundleni zokuxhumana. Khona lapha ku Twitter, Facebook, YouTube and also our repeats ngo Thursday. Ngiyayivala ngithi nci mfethu. Don't look down, look up and stay up. Bang! That's what I call going out with the Big Bang Theory. Goodbye.